Well, if you've been watching this one start to finish,
You got nothing else?
we may send you a T-shirt. Joel Embiid has 15 in the first half.
Promise you we'll be funny in between.
It's a 60-31 game on TNT. Meantime, on NBA TV.
Oh, turn over there.
Kawhi Leonard's had 27 in this one.
If you watching that game and this game, you really got no life.
Oh, this one is 107-75.
And it's not that close.
With 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Y'all ready?
Elimination games.
Y'all ready?
And Toronto and Philadelphia are both
Here we go.
taking
Hey,
advantage.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, okay, cool.
No, they're not saying that.
Yo, they are.
Yeah, they said.
Oh, they said it.
Man,
No, they're
my.
going to play hard in the season.
It's the American Express halftime report. Studio J here in Atlanta. Ernie
Good thing
Johnson.
about it, they're in New York. They got 2 airports. They can fly to a good place.
Shaq and Kenny and Chuck are here.
Philly.
I do not remember seeing 2 games going on at the same time.
That was this bad.
One was 31-7 at one point in the first quarter. The other was 30-8. Both Toronto and Philly had 24-point first quarter leads tonight. And wow. I'm going to guarantee you, though, something.
What's that?
The 2 later games are both going to be better.
Oh, there you
I agree with that. You know, Ernie, but
San Antonio, Denver, and
But you know what
Portland,
you're seeing?
OKC.
You're seeing veteran teams who watch the other teams. Because, like, when you get now, you're like, the first round of playoffs, there's just going to be a lot of mismatches. There's a couple great series, but most of them going to be mismatches. But now you're starting to see Philly watch Boston, Milwaukee, Toronto. Toronto watch those teams. Let's get this thing over with as many games as quick as possible.
Okay, so I'm going to flip a coin, or pretend I'm flipping a coin. You've got Brooklyn offense. You've got Embiid. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Embiid is 6 for 15 on pace for 30 points, and he's doing what he's supposed to do. Roll the tape. When you're the big guy, when you're the main guy, you say Keyshawn Johnson style. Give me the damn ball and move out the way. I'm home. I'm in Philly. It was talk about me not playing. Forget that. I'm playing and I'm going to work. I don't care about your little Jared Dudley, the double. This is what he has to do. And guess what? They got 40 points in the paint. Me and Chuck talk about this guy all year. Stop shooting them ugly jumpers and get your butt in the paint.
Yep.
And here's my favorite player. You rang. Get him the ball. You're too little. You rang. 2 points when you rang. Philly bigs are dominating. My second favorite player in the NBA is you rang.
And your favorite is?
Steph Curry, because he makes it look so Staffordless.
Okay, you got this. This shouldn't take long. This is Brooklyn offense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you know, pressure.
Because they have 31 points
Right.
in the first half, and
Pressure
Philly had 32
And
in the
I think I
first
said
quarter.
this in the NCAA at one time. The only difference between an average player and a good player and a good player, a great player, is their decisions. It's when you make your decisions alleviates the pressure. So,
Oh, go Shaq!
I don't know. I don't know.
You talking about you don't know.
I did not know.
Can you beat anybody?
He has not gone in like he hasn't gone in a month.
It's up to you, Chuck, to make it a hat trick.
Come on,
Can't
Chuck.
beat anybody.
Come on, Chuck. You got to beat him
I
up.
feel like Brooklyn right now, and I can't beat anybody. But I'm gonna tell you what, this is what I'm talking about in terms of pressure, being able to make the correct play. So here, you have the offense and you're running the offense. You're moving the ball, you start to get switches. So now, freeze it. So now, if you look at Jimmy Butler, everything is going this way. This side of the floor is wide open. You can create spots. Ben is over here. Simmons is too high. But your decision takes you into the traffic. Freeze it here.
Shoot the ball.
This is a shot. Thank you.
Shoot
this
the
is
ball.
a shot. Decision. Make your shot. He doesn't take it. Now he gets in trouble. You get a turnover. Off to the races. Again, you have the mismatch you want. Dinwiddie, freeze it here.
Shoot the ball.
That's a shot. You have to shoot it. Decisions. You don't take the shot because of the pressure. You become tentative. Now you want to create something out of nothing. Ben Simmons comes down. You get in here. You take a tough shot. Air ball. Oh, we're off to the races again. Doesn't count. Again, last thing in, D'Angelo Russell. He gets into the area of the floor. He finds Dinwiddie. Freeze it here. That's a shot. Hand down what?
Man down.
Thank you, Mark Jackson. So now he doesn't want to take it. He goes in here. Down the defense is set again. And all of a sudden, the pressure of making a bad decision. Dang, I got to work on my start. Gotta work on it.
And you finished
Doesn't
too.
make you bad.
Brooklyn was
I need
6
to
for
see that replay. I need to see that replay.
We'll
Hey,
see.
Shaq, you got to work on his start, his middle, and his finish, man.
I
Brooklyn-
sure didn't think he was coming.
Brooklyn 6 for 23 in the first quarter, 6 for 23 in the second quarter, 1 for 6 from deep in the first quarter, 1 for 8 from deep in the second quarter. Add up all those numbers, you get 60 to 31.
Oh, I had a
Form, look at that
Man, I
form.
didn't see it.
And got him.
The length,
Yeah, there you go, Shaq.
the grade length.
Wow.
Shaq, good job, brother.
As we head to break, a reminder, Amex card members, listen up. Whenever a player records a triple-double in a playoff game, you can get 32% off at NBAstore.com the following day. Go to NBAstore.com/Amex32 for terms and details. Coming back with more in just a second.
Just practicing. Just practicing.
Welcome to the American Express.
An ambush north of the border for the Toronto Raptors, who led by as many as 24 and take a 20-point lead into the halfway to closing out the series here in Game 5. Welcome into the American Express Halftime Report. Jason Terry, Ryan Hollins, I'm Matt Weiner. Good to have you with us. Guys, before you could blink, it was 22-3 Toronto, then it was 25-5 Toronto. Orlando couldn't make shots, 6 of 19 from three-point range, and that's after a good second quarter. Just a disaster if you're the Magic. Vucevic and Aaron Gordon both in foul trouble. Nothing has gone their way here so far.
Yeah, nothing's gone right, but for championship contending teams, watch the Toronto's Raptors, watch their demeanor, watch how they've come out tonight to really put this team away. That is the type of disposition that you want out of a contending team. They know they can get these guys out of here and they can get their rest, and much needed so, because they're going to have a tough next round.
Man, absolutely, man. You don't play around in elimination games. But when I look at this Raptors team, top to bottom, they're arguably the most versatile and most equipped team in the NBA. And the one thing you got to love, man, is just their activity tonight. They're flying around. They're covering ground. They're talking, communicating. And, Jet, as you know it, man, half of defense is just being ready. So check this out here. Boxes and elbows, they are all 5, 10 toes, 10 feet, whatever in the paint, closing out, making it tough shot for Vucevic, in there rebounding, and they're off to the races. Look at this smothering defense. Now watch this by Kawhi Leonard. That's an elite jump switch right there taken away, and you see 3 bodies in the paint contesting this layup or pass and pass. That's elite right there, okay? Not too many guys are going to cover ground and contest a 3-point shot from the paint. Great job, Pascal. Watch this. Got Serge in a drop, 3 bodies on the weak side. Watch how they're sitting in the paint. So, you know, it's smothering defense, and that boy from UCLA getting that steal right there. So, Toronto, their length, their athleticism, they're motivated, they're playing at home. Oh, man, this is a tough one for Orlando.
Clinic.
Well, the only potential issue for the Raptors as of right now is Kyle Lowry's condition. Jared Greenberg reported he was simply getting his right hand stretched out after he left the game and headed to the locker room late in that second quarter. But he was great when he was out there. 12 points early on in the first quarter. He also finished with 4 rebounds and 5 assists for the half.
Very aggressive, very assertive. This is what we want to see out of Kyle Lowry. Poor closeout by Augustine. He just attacks, and he's very decisive getting to the basket. Then in transition, that's when you know Kyle Lowry is engaged and locked in, when he pulls up for transition threes. Here he is again in transition, looking to get downhill, looking to be aggressive. Right here, he relocates, gets to the corner, knocks down another big 3. So a very efficient first half for Kyle Lowry, 12 points, 5 assists, and 5 for 9 scoring. So he's being aggressive, but he's still facilitating, getting his guys involved. When you got Pascal Siakam with 12 and Kawhi Leonard with 14. So the production is balanced, it's well spread out.
They led by as many as 24. Lowry is plus 28 for the time he was out on the floor. Kawhi Leonard's plus 31. It's only halftime. 24 minutes to go. Raptors 24 minutes away from moving on to round 2 and potentially a date with the 76ers if they can close out. More on that series coming up. Yeah! Norman Powell made an impact on this series. The lead is 20 at the break. Joel Embiid dominated Game 4. It was a game-time decision tonight for Game 5. The decision was yes, thank you. And Embiid came out and scored the first 6 points for Philly.
Ooh,
Free
get busy,
throw line
big
jumper
fella.
goes. You want to close out on him on the baseline? Well, maybe you don't.
Yeah, to the roof, Batman.
14-0 now, and Embiid has 10 of those 14 points. And again, we don't want to make too big a deal of it, but Brooklyn is again without Ed Davis, so no backup big coming off their bench, which means it's Jared Allen and whoever they can throw at the big fella tonight, right? I mean,
that's tough. And we talked about was Embiid going to play or not. Of course he's going to play. Why? Because he allows himself to have rest. You don't want this series to drag on any longer than it should. And you know what's funny, Jet? You know, when you're in the game, or before you play the game, we're sitting there watching the TV. They probably saw what Toronto said. Oh, no, man, we need to go take care of business.
Philly's up 14-0 now. Toronto is up 25-5. Do you think these two teams are ready to take a few days off and prepare for each other?
Definitely ready. Give them an extra dose of NyQuil so you can put Brooklyn to sleep.
A little extra NyQuil for them, is it? How do you see that matchup playing out, by the way? As things stand, I know it's really early in the Philly game, but as things stand, it certainly looks like Sixers and Raptors.
Definitely a great matchup. I like Toronto's versatility defensively with being able to guard Embiid with multiple bigs. They got obviously Marc Gasol and then
Ibaka coming off the bench.
So, you know, that's going to be a problem for Embiid. He's going to have to try to figure it out. And Toronto's the best defensive team remaining in the Eastern Conference.
And Philly just can't outmuscle their way through this. So, you know, Toronto's going to have to move the basketball, and we'll see some great coaching coming up.
Brooklyn still scoreless, 14-0. That's a skunk in my driveway. In NBA playoffs, they continue playing. Those are the rules. They have to play out the whole 48 minutes. Toronto all over the Magic. It's a 20-point lead. Third quarter coming up next. All-star Nikola Vucevic about 9 points off his scoring average for the season so far. Got to get him going tonight if the Magic are going to move on to a Game 6. Here's head coach Steve Clifford.
John Denton, OrlandoMagic.com. Cliff, you guys had 11 fourth-quarter comebacks this season. Is that something you build, like a culture of not giving in, not giving up on a game? Is that something you had to establish, or was it just the way the team played?
Yeah, I mean, I think that speaks more to, you know, your roster, kind of guys you have on your team. Yeah, I think we're second in double-digit fourth-quarter comebacks, I believe. But hopefully that's not the factor tonight.
Steve, Josh Robbins with The Athletic. Did you consider changing the starting lineup at all tonight in order to try to get more offense on the floor to start the game? And if not,
I mean,
what's your rationale?
We got off to a good start. And the other night in the first quarter and the third quarter, we played well early in the quarter. So, I mean, here's the thing, right? If you ever sit down and do it, with a roster like ours, we have many strengths. Having enough offense on the floor all the way through 48 minutes is not easy to do. And if you start Terrence, there's going to be stretches where it's going to be very difficult to put any pressure on the defense. So I know people can say that. As Stan used to say to us, sit down sometime, try to figure out how to get through 48 minutes, and then come back to me with a better way to sub. We sub differently, whether you know it or not. We've subbed differently every game in this series. But our starters playing the last game is not the problem. The other thing is, I think, and this is, this is the San Antonio way, is I think you start with the best defensive team you can. And when you go Leonard and Siakam, we have struggled when both of them are out there, and we don't have both Aaron and Jonathan Isaac on the floor. So if we start with more offense, look out.
Josh Lewinberg, TSN. Coach, speaking specifically about their starting five, I mean, they've had success with that group on the floor in the series. Outside of the talent that they have with that unit, is there something else you can point to in terms of why that group is so tough together?
Creating turnovers. And you look at the other night, I mean, if you watch our offensive possessions, the first, I think both starting teams were on the floor like I think it was like almost 6 minutes. And we had really good possessions. We got good shots, and we also had 6 turnovers. And it remains the same thing as, you know, the game we won, we had 11 turnovers. The 3 we've lost, 17, 16, 17. We're not going to win with our team. We don't have enough offensive on our roster to withstand that. And then game 3, fourth quarter, and all of game 4, the rebounding game. To me, if we had an advantage, not that they're a bad rebounding team, but that was the one area, if you look at the 2 rosters, where we have to have an advantage. And if we're not more physical tonight, rebound the ball better, we're not going to win.
Oh, Steve Clifford doesn't hide from the fact that his Magic are not a great offensive team. They were number 22 in terms of offensive efficiency during the regular season. How do they junk up this game, slow it down, whatever they need to do to keep it close tonight?
We can't sugarcoat this. You talk about Aaron Gordon having a big game. It's got to be on the defensive end, taking the challenge against Kawhi Leonard. He's getting anything he wants. And when you guard Kawhi, he's so strong and athletic. You got to take that bumps and the hits that he's going to give. He absolutely punishes you in the paint. And they just got to scrap. There's nothing pretty about this, Jet.
Nothing pretty about this game. Obviously, zero resistance, when Kawhi is doing whatever he's doing offensively. But speed the game up. Magic, play fast. Shoot threes, play loose. You have nothing to lose in this matchup tonight, and let's see what happens.
That's interesting. You want to go faster.
Faster. Play fast. You have to. You have to speed it up. You can't get into a half-court, grind-it-out game with Toronto.
They're good in transition.
They're too good in the half-court defense.
Well, they can't turn it over, as Clifford mentioned. They've given up 60 points off turnovers over the last 3 games since that Game 1 win.
Tough.
All right, that's coming up. Tip in just moments from Toronto. Kevin Ray, Steve Smith, Mike Fratello, and Jared Greenberg will be on the call. We'll be right back here for halftime and postgame. Enjoy it.